What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. Is there anything you want to get into before I start?
No. I mean, I guess we could just celebrate my job offer. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm starting a new job.
Woo!
Don't want to really get into too much details, but there's some things going on in my company, and they affected me. And I immediately turned around and got a new opportunity. So,
Congrats.
don't know what I'm going to be paid yet, but based off the range and what I anticipate, it should be like about a $30K increase, which is crazy.
Shout out to the increase for the one time.
So we celebrating that today with a little drinkity drink.
Hats
I've
off.
been drinking every weekend, so it's not like
I know you're an alcoholic.
But yeah, that's the only thing that's new with me. I mean, obviously you knew that, but
You
for
want to talk
anybody
about?
listening,
You want to talk about your alcoholism?
well, I don't want it to turn into a habit, so I'm just gonna not make it a thing every weekend to do this for the pod. But
I feel like you're spiraling. Let's
I'm not
talk about it.
spiraling. You think I'm spiraling?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean?
I'm just joking.
Oh,
I'm
you know
being
what's funny?
sarcastic and facetious for
We
the
have
pod.
topics for this pod, but I forgot we said last weekend that this pod was gonna be a college pod.
Oh yeah, we completely wiped it. If anybody
Okay,
heard
maybe we'll
that
do
at
that
the
next
end, which they
weekend.
probably didn't because nobody watches the podcast all the way through, we're gonna do that one.
Let me write it down, so then we know that's for next week in
Yeah.
our shared note.
All good. But aside from that, you ready to go?
Yep, I'm in a good mood, obviously, because of my announcement. I'm also a little bit nervous, though, because it's a change of industry and a change of job function. So it's still accounting, but it's going to be in the pharmaceutical world, and it's going to be SEC reporting. So, the Securities Exchange Commission, everybody know them, right? Is their reporting standards as opposed to I was doing insurance standards before for accounting. So now I'll be doing public, like the public companies have to follow in that side
Yeah.
of things. So it should be interesting. I'm a little nervous because, I want to make sure I'm proving myself and I want to do my job well. So I feel like I have to live up to what I gave in my interview. I had to live up to that impression. But I'm excited. No weapons. What people say, no weapons form against me.
Shall prosper.
Yeah. Things move so quick. It's like something happened in my current situation. I didn't panic because I was like, I know that I'm good regardless. And things turned around so quick, like not even 2 weeks later. So, yeah, that's my update. You have any life updates?
Nope, my life is perfect. Ready to go?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. So if you are confused why I'm wearing a cowboy hat, it is because Beyonce announced, what is it, Act 2, is she calling it? Of the Renaissance album.
Well, no.
Well, this is going to be a completely different
Renaissance
name, right?
was Act 1.
Was Act 1.
Act 2 is called Cowboy Carter.
Cowboy
I
Carter.
think that's the name.
And in typical Beyonce announcement fashion, people are going to find a reason to be upset. We talked about this a little bit earlier about, like our generation is starting to get a little bit older. So like they're getting bitter and upset about everything and more sensitive because of their situations.
And they're kind of rejecting a lot of like the stars that we grew up with. They're starting to reject them. Like not only because they're getting older, but they're kind of rejecting the old way of things. Like the old Hollywood, the old way we used to hype up celebrities.
Yeah. So she just got, of course, the backlash.
And people really don't like her because they feel like, they think she's into evil stuff. They think she's into the Illuminati. They think she's a capitalist and that she's not a good person. That's how she makes so much money. All these things people do to make themselves feel better about being on the lower end of the economic scale.
Correct. Yeah. So to give backstory for you, those that might not have seen it, but upon the release of the album, there was a lot of backlash on the socials because the album cover is Beyonce riding a horse, waving a cutoff. You can't see the full thing.
Which seems purposeful. Like I don't think anything's ever accidental.
Yeah, nothing's unintentional. So it's a cut off American flag, but it looks like she's waving the American flag,
Yeah.
And people were upset about that because they feel like, for some reason, they feel like people that live within America, if you're black, that you shouldn't represent the country that you're from.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of backlash with that, saying that America's currently committing genocides and all these different things.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of backlash.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It was like two different arguments. Like one, it was like, and then there was something that's combined. One, it was like, you shouldn't be waving the American flag as a black person. Like they don't love you. This country doesn't love you. And then the other side of it was like even people who don't even live in this country. Like, why is she representing at all times this is the worst time to be waving up a flag because of what the United States is participating in. And then there's people who agree with both. So like, let's say maybe if the genocide wasn't happening, that whole conversation about what's happening in Palestine wouldn't even be a conversation. Those people probably would have no issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who would still have an issue, the ones who feel like black people shouldn't be waving the flag. So it's like two different arguments, and some people believe in both.
Right. So,
Yeah.
as you can tell by my hat, you can see what side I stand on.
And the fit, I guess. I mean, it
she
wasn't
was,
purposeful.
She was trying to do
but
red,
then
white, and blue.
I
but,
wore the blue pants.
You know,
I wore this all day, so it wasn't purposeful. But now I was like, let me throw the blue on.
You know, for me, obviously, I'll be putting it on every day. You feel me? So
Yeah.
But let's get into it because I don't want to. It's gonna take up a whole 30 minutes. So let's do it. So first, let's tackle the whole idea of not being able to represent America if you're a Black American in this country.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this or do you want me to do this? We could do it two different ways.
I kind of do it, and then you could go off. You know, I've been very involved with like the pro-Black American movement and the delineation that's happening. Like I've been really involved with that on Twitter, and just you know, the whole like in the last it's been like 2 years now at this point. Like I've been really like active in it. The whole just making sure that our ethnic group is not erased. Like we are. Make sure that there's a distinction because we're all Black, but the way everybody gets to wave their flags, we should be able to have our distinct culture and flag to raise, right? And so since I've been like obviously really participating in that, I can speak more on this, and obviously you got like your perspective too. But I feel like everybody, they come here or their parents come here, they benefit off of America, right? Like they hate us so much, but your parents literally like ran from home to come here. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. But they can't come here and then they live here, they start their lives here, they benefit off of the stuff in place, they benefit off of a lot of the programs that exist because of Black Americans fighting for rights, civil rights movements, right? Like the stuff that we fought for. People come here and benefit off that. But people of all ethnic groups and all racial backgrounds honestly benefit off a lot of immigrants in general benefit off of civil rights because of our fight, right? So I feel like, they come here and they wave their flags. You go to this Western Day parade in New York, or any type of like ethnical thing. Like even at Howard, that was a controversial thing. Howard University had like African Heritage Day like recently, right? And everybody's waving their flags and showing like their ethnic pride and their their national pride from like their nationalities from like where their their culture's from. But then it's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, some of them will say, oh, well, Black Americans, you guys have like a Black American flag, which, I think I showed it to you. There is one, but there's no emoji for it. It's like, and we definitely want to like push that more and hopefully get an emoji for it, because that'd be cool. But so, we do have a Black American ethnic flag, right? But we do also, the American flag is still a representation of who we are. Like our family's from America. Our grandparents are from America. Our great-grandparents are from America. Our great-great-grandparents are from America, right? Like you could trace back so far. Like, you've done your family tree on both sides. Have you found any other country yet?
Can't find anybody out of the country, and we're back 1, 2, 3, 4, like probably like 6, 7 generations, if not more. Can't find anything from outside of America.
Yeah, outside America, right? And I went back like I think to my 8th great grandparent, and I found people outside the country like from France and like Dominican Republic area, but like that was 8, 9 generations we're talking about. Like we've been in America, and like that's just one specific line in my family. Like that's just my great grandma's family. Like on my mom's side, it's probably we've been here forever, ever. Like this, there's definitely a lot more like definite slave roots on my mom's side, and it's on my dad's side too. But as you see with my great grandma, there's still some like immigrations that mixed in way at the top. But it's like we've been here so long. Like so, it's like we are American. Like our family has been in this country longer than some of these African countries even been established. Like some countries like Nigeria, I think we're only founded. Let's see, what was Nigeria? Hey Siri, when was Nigeria founded? 1963. My dad was already born. My dad was 2 years old when this country was established.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me I can't wave a flag that I've been around here for way longer than your country has even been existing? Like, come on. So it's like, for me, it's crazy. Like I understand the negative history. I understand we were enslaved on this land, and we, a lot of the roots were brought here from Africa onto this land, right? So I get that, but I'm supposed to turn my back onto a place that still has been my family's home for centuries. The family, like turn my back on a country that my family fought like to wave the flag. Like they wanted to be proud Americans. They wanted to, have their cultural identity and fight and get rights here. So we still have a huge part in the building of this country. We still were a huge part in the economics of this country because of slavery and cotton. We fought hard during the civil rights movement. All the stuff our ancestors went through, like all the stuff that they dealt with. I'm putting now just turn my back on all the hard work that they did because you don't like it, like because you don't like this country. Then why'd you come here? Like, be mad at your parents because they brought you here. Or if you came here yourself, be mad at yourself. So it's just like, I don't know. I understand the negative history. I understand the representation of our flag and many evils in this world. But every country has an evil, nasty history. Like a lot of them, not every, but a lot of country is still doing crazy stuff. So it's like, look at your own country. Like, look at the things your people are doing, your leaders doing, your government's doing. Like, but you still have pride in where you come from. So why is it an issue when we have pride in the place that we helped build? And I feel like it's not fair. It's like they take everything. People take everything from us. They take away our own. Like we can't represent our culture because it's like, oh, you're African. You're from Africa. You wouldn't have this if it wasn't for us. Like, try to take credit for our stuff, right? Like they try to take credit for hip hop. They try to take credit for everything. And now they can't. We can't even wave a flag. It's like they try to strip everything that we want to do in our own pride. They try to take that from us. It's crazy. So. I haven't I feel like hating the American flag is like weird because it's like you could leave and that you sound like what they call people who are like not liberal, like conservative, like bigoted. You sound like a bigot, but it's a real thing. You could leave at any moment. You have free will. One-way flights to other countries are not that much money. Like you could really go build a new life somewhere else and not have to pay your taxes to the country you hate so much.
Yeah. So for me, I obviously I agree with all your sentiments. So some of it will be a summary of basically what you just said. But yeah, for me, I think just on a simple logical level, if you hate something, why participate in it? So if you're going to be in a country that you want to demonize and you feel like it's evil and you feel like America contributes to a lot of horrible things in the world, which it 100% does, and I'm not disagreeing with that point, but if you feel that way, then you can go. Like you don't have to be here. And it's just in general just a little weird to bash something that you're also a participant in. So if you don't want to put your tax money towards wars in other countries, then you don't have to. Like you really can go. And I know like that's kind of a somewhat similar rhetoric that white people said, go back to Africa, all that kind of thing. But it's a little bit different because here you have a choice. Like you can go if you hate it that much. They just didn't want anybody here. And we're just trying to prevent people from they brought us here first of all and then said go back. So that's different. You enslaved somebody and then told them to go back. That's a little different than when you've existed in the land for generations. But if you came here voluntarily or your parents came here voluntarily, it's not that hard to go if you hate it that much. Especially when they have family back home. You could go back and move with them. I'm sure they'll be happy for you to be back there with open arms. Yeah. So that's my thing. So just if you're gonna, because it just, I get the sentiments, of course, but it also just comes across as a little bit weird to bash it because you benefit so much from it and you take the parts that you do like, you get the stability, you get the government assistance, you get the paved roadways, the clean drinking water, you get safety that you're not going to the school systems, the safety that you're not going to get invaded by another country. Like you get so many different benefits, the availability of food, you get so many benefits of it. And you take those things every single day, you're tweeting and posting on USA Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. So there's so many different benefits made by Americans. Right. You're buying Apple phones and American companies. So those things don't also negate the evils that America has done. Yeah. But to me, if you're going to be of the stance that you hate it and it's so evil and you want to denounce it, then don't take the benefits that come with it. Yeah. Denounce it and then stay here. All of it. Yeah. Like if you're going to denounce it, denounce all of it and you can go to the countries where you feel like those things don't exist. Yeah. Now, I don't know many that do, but if you want to be a part of those, right? Because if you want to go to the UK, they're the biggest colonizers ever. So you can't go there. Yeah. where I don't know where you would go where those things don't happen, because there's other continents where there's genocides that they commit on their own without any major powers being involved at all. Like genocides happen in the African continent
they
all the time.
Kill themselves, same skin folk, and they literally kill themselves.
So
tribes, tribal issues.
Yeah, I'm not sure where people might end up if they denounce here, where they feel like there's another country that might not do those things. There are a few.
Sweden,
neutral, right? Neutral country that hasn't done much, like somebody like Poland or some of those smaller countries. You can go there.
Island.
Yeah, maybe an island. Yeah, that hasn't participated in anything.
But if you want the lifestyle that we have here, you're not going to get that.
You're not going to find that anywhere else. And so to me, just pick and choose. It doesn't absolve America of its evils.
And not that we agree with everything in America. Then obviously
we're a product of the evils.
Yeah, like what?
So we clearly recognize it. But to me, it's just one of those things. It's like the equivalent of like smoking crack and then also wearing like a Dare shirt.
Yeah.
Like you don't do drugs and then go out on Twitter and be like, say no to drugs. It's kind of like, it's just hypocritical from my standpoint. So no. So Black Americans like represent.
We're such an interesting position, and then you're gonna tell us we can't. Now we're not allowed to have any identity. They took away our original identity, and now the identity that we have built and created a new, created good out of evil. You're gonna tell me I can't represent that either? Like that's crazy.
Nah, we're gonna still rep it,
but then steal our stuff and mimic us and imitate us. Like,
we're still gonna rep it. I don't care. Like my family's been here for generations. We got land in our names. Like we've been here forever.
Like you have towns where like street names. Like same with my family, right? Like in Alabama and Louisiana. I mean Mississippi, right? Like don't you have like areas where like it's like named after your last name? Yeah, same. Like so
and they can say that's because those were the slave masters' last names. They could say that, but still, we still own it. So.
So we just like, what are we supposed to do? Bolt away and just be like, no identity, help, like no, like
and I'm not gonna flee to a place where I don't belong either.
Yeah,
I don't know. We don't know where them generations are from. I'm not gonna go just run to Africa because they say that we're from there. I don't know where I'm from.
We're not gonna flee. We're gonna stay true to where we're from.
Right, and I'm also gonna represent where I'm from. So I'm not gonna flee my country to go to somebody else's.
Yeah, like if you really love who you are, won't you stay where you're from?
Yeah, I'm gonna rep my cities. Like I don't want to hear anybody have this rhetoric and then they're repping, oh, I'm from this city, I'm from that city.
Somebody was saying that. He's like, look, you guys proud to be Americans. And then you went to his page. I think I saw the screenshot. He was like his bio was like he's from the South.
Yeah, like
I'm like, huh?
Like nah.
It was like it was like St. Louis, the South. I was like,
yeah, see, that's the type of shit I be talking about. Like y'all just logically don't make sense. Like but to get back to her, so let her rep her. I don't know what her familial structure looks like, how long they've been in Texas, but whatever it is, Black people can be proud of being in America. I was explaining this to one of my friends from Brazil the other day, and was explaining that, like, why are we so embracing of the American flag, or why are we proud to be Americans? And that's why we have so much history and culture involved here, like all the different inventions that people have made every single day. Like traffic lights, probably the most common thing. You go outside, we got 20 traffic lights right here. Like that's a Black man invention.
Like Black Americans have done so
Black
much.
Americans have done a lot, and they won't ever teach you about those things. But that's not something we're gonna run away from and not be prideful in. Yeah. And we're also gonna be prideful in allowing other ethnic groups to have it way easier to get here. Yeah. With programs that our generation has, from people from our lineage, have had an actual hand in participating in building. So we're not going to run away from that. We're going to be proud of that history. I'm going to rep where I'm from. I'm not from any other country, continent. Yeah. Like, we can all say that all human history.
Yeah, all humans started in Africa.
All humans started in Africa, but like,
we're so far removed from that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, we wouldn't even be welcomed if we went over there. Like let's keep it 100.
Like literally, I have no ties except DNA to that continent. Like love for my Black people everywhere, but I don't have to. That's not my identity. And also my identity is the South.
Also, the DNA thing, I think people need clarity on. Yeah. When you doing a DNA test, it's not telling you where you're from.
Yeah, it's just
it's telling you where your specific strain of DNA has the most commonalities with. It doesn't. You can have a 97% connection to Nigeria, but that doesn't mean that you're Nigerian.
Yeah, because Nigeria didn't even exist when slavery was. I just told you, 1963. Nigeria didn't even exist.
And that's them saying like, but that's more like a colonization kind of thing.
Like an official.
The land still existed.
The land existed.
But that doesn't mean that you're now from there and now you should start repping for Nigerian flag.
Like that's not their clothes.
No, you're not from there.
That's called appropriation. When you try to take out of people's culture, that's you're not from.
No, we from America. So for anybody thinking the whole slave heritage and all that, No, nobody's proud of that either. But
Yeah.
what I am proud of is what we were able to accomplish by getting out of there.
Yeah, because like, well, yeah, I'm proud of the fact that like, instead of running to another country, our ancestors fought. We're here. We're like, no, we're not running. We're not going nowhere. We're staying right here. We're gonna fight back as a minority in this country. We're gonna fight back, and look what we overcame as a minority.
Yeah, and not only that,
As a
prospering
minority
too.
in the country. Like, let's make that clear. We were the minorities.
And
We didn't get taken over as minorities
and prospering.
and prospering, and we didn't run. We stayed right here
I'm doing fantastic.
and built up ourselves, built up our people. And unfortunately, like, our people are a mess in a way. Like, a lot of us still haven't made much progress and kind of made steps backwards. But I'm still proud of like the fact that our ancestors literally lived through that stuff, and we're alive today because our ancestors lived and fought.
And everybody does that. Like,
Yeah,
everybody has people that like,
degenerates. In their group,
degenerates
and
in their own communities. Like, I don't know why people focus and harp so much on what Black Americans do
negative.
when you saw them. People just got shot up in Russia. Like, there's these people exist everywhere. It's just because Black culture is so popular, people want to focus on it because they just want to marginalize the Black Americans.
Yeah,
Like, they want to just marginalize it so
like,
bad.
not everybody's are sexy reds, and not everybody's shooting guns and killing each other. Like, that's
And we love Sexy Red, but
yeah,
because that's
we
a part of the
we
culture
like
too.
all parts of the culture. Yeah,
Yeah, but
she does participate in some like degeneracy.
Yeah, but
which
so
could be negative,
so
but
does so
so
many
do-
people.
yeah.
Because how is that any different? Because
Yeah.
it's just the way it's presented. Like, they will present Black people as being like that kind of like just they're the tattoos and all that other stuff. But I'm like, to me, that stuff is no different than the concept of like the IG model prostituting themselves, or like the Bachelor shows, like all those kind of shows. It's all the same thing.
They
It's just
glorify
it's
it.
packaged differently.
It's packaged different, and every culture participates in it. Like, white people
I don't
have their
know.
white trash. They have Asians have their people that are like degenerates and do stuff like that. It's every culture.
Yeah.
Ours is just highlighted because we're so popular and under a microscope.
Yeah. So that's that part. We're gonna be proud of it regardless of the slave history. If you don't like it, you are more than welcome. There's a lot of booking options.
Mexico's right there. The same way they walking over from Mexico, you could walk by the
You
way.
could or you could go somewhere else. Like,
Canada,
Canada's
right there.
You can book a flight. And if I saw somebody said that it's expensive, I'm like, well, you're not utilizing the American dream properly. Sorry for you.
Go there and start a new life. It might maybe it'll be easier for you there.
Maybe it'll be easier. Go
Get a
find out.
job, go to Indy. I'm sure you could place a job before you even get there.
But I'm not gonna participate in something that I hate. So that's maybe I'm crazy.
That's just me. Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. If I hate something, I might just not do it. But
I'm not gonna
maybe
rep
that's
it
just
either.
me.
I'm not gonna talk about I'm from the South.
I'm not gonna.
With an F.
I'm not
With an
gonna.
F too. With an F.
I'm not gonna say I'm from Philly and
St.
say
Louis
I
represent
hate
the-
America at
yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. I don't know. The second part of it. What was the other?
Oh yeah, it's just the fact that people were very ignorant to Black American history, but especially like other Black people, like Africans or Caribbeans who trying to like clown us for repping the flag, but not realizing that the album cover is literally a representation of Black American culture. Cause there's this guy, I actually just had the article up. His name is Bill Pickett.
Yes, sir.
And he was a cowboy and a rodeo performer.
People don't know that,
and that's literally Black American culture in Texas.
They literally don't know that. Like
Yeah.
that, the cowboys that they depicted in the movies. The reason why everybody's perception of cowboys being white is just because Black people weren't allowed to be in these movies.
Yeah,
it's
cowboys
not like they didn't
came
exist.
from Black Americans.
Just
like everything else cool came from us, and so did cowboys.
Yes, Bill Pickett. Yes, and he was also the first Black man ever in a motion picture, and they won't. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that being him, but I'm pretty sure he was the first Black man ever. They showed animation of him riding a horse. I think actually they put it in.
I
Nope.
think we just talked about this.
Yeah. All that culture came from that. Horses aren't native to here.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Like, when people realize that's literally American culture, like her being on that horse, like people are editing the picture of like Beyonce on there with their flags. So I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
that's Black American culture. Y'all don't.
And his rodeo specifically, like he has like a Bill. It's called a Bill Pickett rodeo, and that's literally like her Beyonce's album cover is literally like you see. It's like the people are dressed the same exact way with the sashes, and waving the flags, like the rodeo performances.
Yeah, that's the culture.
Black American culture. Like, you love our culture so much. People think they're a part of it just because they're Black, but then they came and recognized that this is what she's literally depicting in her cover. Like, you don't even know the culture because you're not really a part of it. You're a guest in it. Like,
yeah, nah. People got to do their Googles, and people have ignorant parents, so I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, people think that Black American culture is just like the shows they watched growing up and the music.
People listen to a couple albums. They listen to Future's new album, which is great.
Yeah,
They listen to that.
They watched the Cosby Show growing up, and now they think they in.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince, like, nah, that's not, the culture is more than that. You got to be involved in these communities.
Yeah. You have to be. It has to be in your household. Like, it's not just because you went to school with black people. Because now you sound like a white person. Like,
yeah, I was around. Like, okay,
but what was you eating in your household? What do you guys eat at Thanksgiving? Like, come on. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay to not be a part of it. Like, I know it's cool. I know you want to be, but you could love us as skin folk, but you're not gang. Like I said this in the podcast before. Like, you're not gang. I'm sorry. You're not. Clearly, you're not, because you're offended by something that you don't even know is of real significance in Texas.
A very Texas significant. Like, no, but not just in Texas though. But these things are significant in their benefit as well. Like, that's the other thing about it is like, these pioneers that showed up and were doing these things. There were no, like my parents talk about all the time, there were no black people on TV at all. Mm-hmm. Like, what started to help to push these things are like people like him, that started to fight for that representation. Mm-hmm. Like, this whole culture, this is our shit.
Yeah, and like, look, this picture in specific, like you could see, like this article was years ago, and this literally looks like Beyonce's cover. Yeah, same exact outfit, the folding the flag. She doesn't have a sash on in her picture, but like this is literally a thing that's been around. Like,
yeah, no, she's not. She, it's what it also reminds me of is people think that slang and trend, like maybe the trends, but like when it comes to this, and correct me if that's the proper term or not, but like slang or whatever, the vernacular, whatever word, because I know that there's a differentiation between that. The vernacular that is used on TikTok, people think those things are TikTok words, like that they were derived from TikTok. It's like, no, these things exist in the culture and in the community regardless of TikTok being around. So people were so like I started to see all other cultures comment on the word bop. I'm like, first and foremost, let's take a step back. We've been using bop for like years.
That more so came from like low key like the 90s.
Yeah, like people have been saying that whole concept of bop. Like, it's not a TikTok. It might be a TikTok trend because some other young youthful people may not have heard about it, and maybe it became trendy that way. But it's not. These words aren't derived on TikTok. They exist in our communities outside of social media. So people just don't even get and understand these things. You're not a part of these communities, and then you have people that are either going to rip it, or I saw a different ethnic group, lighter skin shade, being upset about people using the word bop, and I just found out what bop means. I thought it meant a good song. Like, it's Lord. It's and while it does,
that's why I just want us to gatekeep.
We're bottom line, we're gonna support Beyonce. Everybody in here with this whole debate back and forth is misinformed, and maybe get informed. And if you still feel away, then you can. There's plenty of flights. Yeah. You can hit Expedia. We just booked a trip, to get out the country for a vacation. You can do the same, but you don't have to come back.
You don't.
And then you can enjoy your life.
When we were in Dubai, they talked about expats being over there. It's easy to be an expat, honestly. You could get a job there and start from scratch. Like, really.
And your life might be better or it might be worse. And I wish the best for you, but we're going to continue to represent the place that we've been from for generations.
Our love for ourselves and our identity.
If you hate it, then
you could go.
And that's it. And we supporting Beyonce's album when it drops. I might buy 10 copies.
I need a hat like yours.
Yeah, I gotta get you. This is a good Stetson too. It's a good Stetson cowboy hat. And catch us out west where you can see me put this on too.
Yeah.
Be at the rodeo with it.
We gotta do our western southern trip next year. We need to do a lot more domestic together.
Yeah, Texas is a vibe.
Yeah.
I like Texas.
So next, we could talk about Nara Smith, who has taken over TikTok lately, I feel like, and just social media in general, mostly TikTok, obviously, because that's where her platform is, and then her videos make its way on Twitter. Like, people share it, people talk about it on Twitter. But for people who don't know, because I kind of caught you up to speed. But for people who don't know, Nara Smith is a model. I think her mom's South African. Her dad, I think, is like white, like he's German. She was born, I think, in Germany, and then moved to LA to pursue modeling. She became she was a really popular model, and she met her husband. His name is Lucky, and he's also a model. And she's 22. I'm not sure how old he is, but she's 22. She has 2 kids already and a third on the way. And yeah, so she basically, just has like this good life. Like they make a lot of money. I think they live in Dallas. Funny enough, we just talked about Texas.
Shout out to Dallas.
And it's funny, people thought they lived in like Europe or something, because they do kind of give like that edgy, like you would think they lived in Poland or something. It's like, live in Dallas? Like I know, like people are like, I know. People looking in the background like, I know that's not that mall, my mall, but because they do give like they live like, he be what's the thing, like people toothpick, he be having a toothpick in his mouth, like trying to be all edgy with like the slick back hair. I'm like, you would think they're from like Poland or something.
Yeah,
but,
that's about.
But they live in Dallas. But yeah, so basically, like I said, she's 22 with 2 kids, third on the way, she's pregnant, and she just loves to cook. Like I think she didn't think nothing of it. She's just posting content of her cooking because that's what she generally enjoys doing. Like you could tell she really loves to do this. Like I don't know if maybe she was raised that way. If she, and that's just the passion. It's like everybody has their passions. That's hers, right? So, but what happens is she's doing something harmless. It gains popularity. People enjoy it, but whenever that happens, every single time, people haters come. It's just a natural thing. It's always going to be weird. Whenever there's something in this world, like Rihanna said it best, like people are gonna hate whether you're doing bad or good. Like you could be doing the greatest thing in the world. You could be the most like, what's the word? Philanthropic person in the world. You could save the earth from destruction, and someone's still gonna have something to say. Like that's just life.
You save the earth from destruction, and somebody's gonna say, "Oh, they only did it because."
Yeah, they just wanted attention. They just wanted to. They just wanted to.
They wanted to just be the hero.
Yeah. It's always going to be a hater. I got you.
I know.
Always.
I know.
So with her, what the issue was is people, first of all, they love to project. So a lot of it is like, oh, I'm sure she's like, there's like a term called a trad wife or something. I'm not really sure the exact definition, but it has to do, I think, with like a woman that's just like kind of a homemaker, like traditional wife. Mm-hmm. Oh, she just.
So that's what they call it. What?
Yeah, I think, trad. Yeah, duh, am I slow? I just gave myself the answer. I think that's what.
At first, I'm like, let's make sure that's not a slur.
Yeah. And, I think that's what it means.
Okay, traditional wife. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like, in their mind, it's like, what was that movie we saw?
Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah, like I think that's what people are thinking. It's like, Don't Worry, Darling. Like she's like the homemaker and like the pre-feminist movement, and she's doing all the housework, and the man's just working, and it's uneven balances. Even though I think it's still even balance for somebody to do the housework and cook, and somebody to go to work all day. I think that's a pretty fair trade. If you were
honestly, I would take the working, like doing the home.
Yeah, me too.
I'd rather do that than go outside.
I would enjoy it. I'm cleaning my own home. Like I'm putting effort and love into my own house instead of putting money in someone else's pockets, which the men have to do to make the money to make the house work. So I never understood why people had an issue with the traditional roles, because it's like
it benefits
everybody. Like I mean, I get it as hard on the woman. I get it, but we don't think it's hard on a man it's all on him to keep his house flowing. Like,
I think people's issues with that stemmed from when that concept existed, the men were very abusive.
They were abusive. There was definitely a power dynamic, because they knew, which I understand that they knew like the woman didn't have money, so you're staying with me, like you're stuck with me. Like I could abuse you, I could cheat on you, I could do whatever. And you're gonna stay because you have no power.
Job, no money.
So I understand that. Like that's messed up. Like I'm but I think a traditional balance where there's no abuse and cheating happening, fine. Like I would love to take care of my kids and clean the house all day. Like I don't have to worry about going to do accounting. Like I would love that. So yeah, people are just projecting out to her because people are just gonna project, oh, she's so young, wow, you're throwing your life away, you're so young, 22, and you have about to have 3 kids, and you're probably just cleaning and cooking, and he's just like not doing nothing. Like people just projecting and being a hater. And then they also tried to question her like religion, because there's like a assumption that they're Mormon, and like I think she touched on that rumor saying that like she hasn't picked what she wants to be. She's still young. She's still trying to figure out. Maybe he might be more into that, but she doesn't know. She's still, and who cares? Like I feel like people bringing up a religion is crazy, because every religion, in my opinion, has a lot of negative and positives. Like literally, we talked about this, and we could have a whole topic.
We will never talk about it on camera. Religion. We're never going to talk about it on camera.
Remember, I was just showing you though how Ike Mel, if you guys anybody familiar with him, he's like a popular crime YouTuber, but he was talking about, because people were asking about his religion, and he was saying. He's still trying to figure out the religion thing for himself, because in his opinion, religion is the most evil, dangerous thing in this world, because every war, Palestine, Israel, boils down to religion. Like, come on. Like, if we really think about it, religion is like the source of a lot of our wars. Don't want to get too much into it, but there's a lot of negative effects and side effects of religion since the beginning of time on this planet, and to human race, and to people in general. Like, so to try to judge her Mormon beliefs when in my opinion, every religion has its pros and cons is crazy. So yeah, people just being a hater. They want to find a reason to hate on her, because in reality, let's be real, a lot of women want that life.
They do.
She's pretty, she's calm, she's clean, she's taking care of family, she's doing something she loves, and she's in a good, happy, stable relationship. So they want to say, oh, it's probably he's cheating. Oh, she's probably not happy. Oh, he probably makes her do all the work. And it's funny because she dispelled all the rumors in subtle ways. So she showed him like cleaning all, and he cooks a lot himself too. Like he likes to bake. Like she's a cooker, but he likes to bake. He cleans up. He takes care of the kids. He's braiding the kids' hair while she's making breakfast. Like they look like a really happy marriage. And like the fact that people are so quick to hate and find something to hate is crazy. Like jealousy is really a disease.
Yeah, it's because this always happens, right? Like we've seen this happen so many times where you build somebody up just to tear them down, right? Because couple months ago it was all I'm soft life, soft girl, and you want all the pampering and all that kind of stuff, luxury,
black girl luxury,
and, right? And that's all she's doing. Is
literally,
that
she's embodying it like to the T,
right? And now all of a sudden we hate it, and now she's miserable. And it's like, well, what exactly does anybody
they want men to pay all the bills? But
they want men to pay all the bills.
They want to. He probably is paying everything, and she's not mad.
So women's perspective right now. So here's what they want. So they want men to pay all the bills. Men to take care of the kids. They want men to cook and clean. And they want to sit and scroll through goddamn TikToks all day. Like, is that the whole...
and just be pretty.
And that's what... Then just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, when y'all find that...
Let me know.
Let us know. You know, I'd like to see when that actually occurs, because it's not happening.
The people that spew all that too are... You see their life. Like, it's always funny.
Their life
that's
is
my
a,
favorite
is
genre
a
on Twitter.
fire.
That's literally my favorite genre on Twitter. When women say all this stuff about themselves, and it's like, no, why aren't you married?
Yeah.
Where's your stable relationship? Wasn't the math is not math.
We just talked about this. Women have all this psycho criteria on things and then never live up to the criteria that they be talking about. Like, it's just the most mind-numbing thing. And to me, it's like, what you hate on is a huge indicator of you as a person. So if you're hating on somebody and all they're doing is showing cooking videos and that's basically it, like you saw her make French toast from scratch and somehow that triggered something in you to be upset and start throwing a hissy fit and like making comments on TikTok, like it's weird because it's so indicative of how you are as a person because you're miserable. Like even the most happy, positive thing, like there's the whole Hope Core thing on TikTok. Like you seem like the type of person to see like positive videos and then just hate on it just because you're upset about your life. Like it's crazy. Like I feel like the internet of because that's used to be what Facebook was to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like now all of social media has now transitioned into Facebook, where it's just a bunch of miserable people coming together and then hating. And it's like when a new person pops up doing something positive, then it's like, then you support them and then you hate on them. Then you jump to the next person, support them, and then hate on them. It's always support them until they get to a level of something. And then you realize, you know, like, you see your life, right? You can't make French toast from scratch.
Yeah. You don't even have the partner, or you don't have a partner at all, but you might have a partner who doesn't even allow you to that softness that you want, that femininity that you desire.
Right. So you hate your life, and so you want to make other people hate their lives.
You can't even find somebody like you see like the top of ring into next. There's people like, and we're seeing our age. They're getting older. They're scrambling. They want kids. They want the family, and they can't get it. They spend so much of their 20s doing stupid stuff, or being volatile, or being toxic. Haven't formed their life, and then now they're hating on somebody who they wish they could be. Oh, she's 22. Why is she so young doing that? Well, maybe if you were younger, or when you were younger and you tried to figure out your life and relationship, you wouldn't be 30 and single. There's nothing wrong with settling down earlier. Maybe if you would have took that path, maybe you wouldn't be 30 with 59 bodies and 0 companionship. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would be able to start your family too if you would have spent your 20s a little differently.
Right, and that's the thing.
So why are you hating on her? Because she decided to settle down earlier in life.
Whatever.
Avoided racking up bodies for the sake of living.
Yeah. And obviously we don't know these people. We don't know her. We don't know their life. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But number one, I think speculating negativity behind somebody making a video of them cooking breakfast is insane. Like y'all need real mental help. Like
the girl Gabby in our TikTok comments. Shout out Gabby.
Like the movie Shutter Island, when they had all the people out there raking up leaves, all the old decrepit people that were going through psychosis. Like that's how I envision the people that type these kind of comments on the internet. Like, what about the breakfast, or what about the Cheez-Its from scratch made you so upset that you want to now say that she's cheating, or he's cheating on her, and she's miserable, and he doesn't do any of the work. Like where, like
Also, they try to say, "Oh, he fetishizes her because she's a mixed race woman."
where do people get this stuff from? Like y'all are weird. Like the internet, I can't tell if
it just makes me scared. Like, do they not realize how psychotic they look and
I don't
sound
think so.
by like coming up to conclusions based off of blips of people's lives? Like, we live like our lives have so much nuance and different things that happen on a day to day, hourly basis, and you come to a conclusion off of a minute video.
I'm not gonna lie, maybe their lives don't, because for us we have
A lot going on.
we have a lot going on. We got like motion, as the kids would say. We got a lot of motion going on. So like for our lives, maybe there is a lot that happens where they don't get that. Like so maybe their whole life literally is they go clock in and do about 4 hours shift at a fast food restaurant and go back to their parents' crib and scroll, and maybe they're just on Shein or what's this Fashion Nova still a thing? Do people still do that?
People still up there, yeah.
And they're buying dupes off of Temu and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that is their life, and that's all they do is just scroll through social media. So they don't got a lot going on. So maybe from their perspective, maybe they I don't know.
Yeah, I never understood that concluding people's lives off of a video. That has to make you sit and feel like, am I psychotic? Like, do people not have those self-awareness moments? Like, okay, maybe I'm doing a lot. Maybe I'm a little psychotic.
I don't think, well, clearly not, because people do that all the time. Like they feel like, because it's part of that thing that I can't ever seem to like remember the name. What's it called? The parasocial relationship. People look at a 15-second clip and feel like they know everything. They know somebody's whole life story, and feeling like you know somebody's whole life story based off of a TikTok is nuts. TikToks aren't longer than 3 minutes.
10 is the max now.
10 is not. Oh.
But most people, I think the average, if I could say the average amount of time people probably post is like 1 or 2 minutes. If there was an average.
And to feel like you know somebody's whole entire life story because they were cooking their kids' food, and is wild. Like people don't want others' success.
Yeah.
Once they realize that they won't get it themselves, because it's all good and dandy when it's like, oh, I love this for her, like blah blah blah. It's all this great support when people still feel like it's obtainable, but then maybe you just found out your man cheated on you, or you can't find one, or you can't get a good job. Maybe you just hate your life. So now that you hate your life, now all of a sudden it's like
something has to be wrong.
Something has to be wrong with her life.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like that whole notion of like, oh, like people be lying. Like it's like people assume every positive thing that's posted, it's like it has to be a lie. Oh, don't believe this because people be behind the scenes, they've been miserable. And like a lot of people may make a TikToks lately, like no, like a lot of people they're posting happy moments and they are happy in real life. Like I don't know what people think about us, but I could assume maybe some people, out of everybody who's ever seen our stuff, I'm sure even people that know us, I'm sure people have thought, oh, they post all this stuff, but they probably behind the scenes don't get along. Like meanwhile, like our lives are just as good as like what we represent online. Like
I wouldn't even cap about it.
We barely argue, right? Like we were a really chill, calm relationship. Like there's no cap in it at all. Like maybe back in college there was a little bit more cap because like we did fight a lot, but not now. Like
my life really is
literally exactly
so
how we
chill.
display it. Yeah, like
I would never, because I don't want to be a hypocrite like everybody else. Like all y'all
fake flexing. Like there's no fake flexing. There's none that's fake over here. Like,
no, it's really good over here.
Like just because we post our highlights, like doesn't mean our lives are miserable in the day to day and we're just lying. Like, and to make that assumption that people are lying about their lives because you want to make yourself feel better about your life being ass, or that's because that's what you're doing. Like, no, put that on to other people.
And if I had lowlights, I would post them too, but there's just not many. Sorry, there really isn't. And you know, life has a funny way of humbling you, and I am an extremely humble person because you see, I don't even post most of the stuff that I could post.
Yeah, but and you still do go through a lot of stuff, obviously privately, like a lot of personal stuff, but you know, you don't have to necessarily share that. It should be assumed that humans go through highs and lows, like, but don't assume that the highs are fake.
Yeah, and the lows that I go through really are just involved where there's other people's involvement.
Yeah, like where it's just life stuff that's happening that's unavoidable. Or it's just like
somebody getting sick and all that kind of stuff. I can't avoid that. Yeah. Those are lowlights, but that it's not me. Like I don't have any really personal lowlights. Like I don't.
A lot of people's lowlights are self-inflicted. Like a lot of issues people deal with in careers and money, they did it to themselves. They didn't take advantage of their college education. They didn't take advantage of the life their parents set them up for success for. They chose dumb careers. Like so a lot of people's lives are self-inflicted chaos. Yeah. Like a good portion of people is self-inflicted. They don't want to admit it because a lot of people don't want to admit their flaws and that they messed up. But a lot of people's pain is self-inflicted. Like it is. Yeah, but so the highlights we're not lying. Yeah, so if anybody ever thought that, it's not a lie. It's no cap on this app. There's no cap at all. Like literally.
So their life really could just be that popping, and
Yeah, and not good.
And you be like, I still can't wrap my head around it every single time I say it. What about the handmade Cheez-Its makes people so upset?
Because that's another thing people are saying. Oh, it's unrealistic. This is an unrealistic life.
But it's her
It's
realistic.
unrealistic to you.
Yeah, but this is
her
her
life, and this is her real
It's
life.
not AI.
Like,
It's not AI. It's not unrealistic.
and
She's
it's not
actually
her,
doing this.
and it's not her job to make content that's relatable to other people. She's just being herself. Like, it's
Right.
not her job to make you feel better because her life is good. She's supposed to humble herself and be like, oh, let me not cook for the internet because it's not realistic for women to cook for scratch.
And that's
they're working and they have to help with the income. Well, that's not my life.
And she's not even, to me, that's not even like a wealthy type thing.
It's
like,
not. If anything, that's actually like, I mean, it kind of is in a way because you had buying more stuff from scratch, like buying more ingredients.
I guess, but
that's her life still.
It's like it's not like she's flaunting money, from my understanding.
Yeah, no, like it's subtle flexes, but it's not like in your face. Like she'll do the whole, oh, I'm going, like they went to the mall and did like this luxury shopping trip, or like, you know, she'll show like the house a little bit, little glimpses, but that's still her life. Like there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah, who doesn't do that? And if you were in that position, you would do the same thing, and that's what it always comes back down to.
People do it with the little stuff. They'll get one gift. They'll get like a Coach bag from their friend, and they post it on TikTok. Look at my Coach bag I got for Christmas. You do that with the Coach bag, but you're mad at the girl doing it with her Louis and her Chanel. Like I'm just confused. Like you flex a little stuff. Look, my man got me this purse from Shein, but then you're mad because she's showing the purse she got from her man from Chanel. Like
it's just
they would do this. Like I said, they would do the same thing. They just can't, and that's why they're mad.
When you can't obtain it, people get mad. People don't like flex culture when they realize it's unattainable.
Yep, and now all of a sudden, oh, they're being capitalist and capitalistic society and capitalism. Oh,
meanwhile, you tweeting your Cash App name the whole time. Like it's just weird. Like people should get over themselves. Like. And she shouldn't feel a way about anybody's comments because people are weirdos. Like
I hope it doesn't get to her. I mean, naturally it probably does in some way a little bit, but
it's just because to me, I just be laughing.
Yeah, because you know at the end of the day, they will gladly in a freaking heartbeat trade life with you. Like that would make me sleep at night. Like I'm good. Do you guys want to be me? And that's why you're mad.
Yeah,
that's really why you're mad.
Because we're not even. I mean, we're. Probably what are we like top 10% income earners in the country?
Yeah, especially now that I got this little job offer. Let me not speak on it too soon. It's this offer, but
so when like homegirl was dropping those comments, stuff like because now I kind of see it from that perspective. Now that we do this podcast and we're doing the TikTok, so it kind of puts us in a whole different audience and more people to judge.
Yeah,
nothing is just funnier about that to me than like we're about to move into a way nicer apartment, and this is nice. It's kind of hard to tell because we just have this and we hate this.
Yeah,
couch.
you guys can't really see.
You guys can't really tell how nice it is in here, but we got plants everywhere. About to move into is nicer. You know the quartz.
Yeah, backsplash.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's nice.
Cabinet, stainless steel
appliances.
12 feet ceilings.
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
Hi hat lights. What do they call these things? What do they call those lights?
Yeah.
They call
hi hats.
Hi hats. I don't know.
Yeah. They're nice.
Nice appliances.
Nice. Let's stop because I was trying to be facetious.
But yeah, but then our new apartment's nice too.
It's gonna be even nicer.
Windows.
So when people make those negative comments, and I guess it's like just me trying to give advice for everybody else out there, that's what is happening on the opposite end of when people are leaving a negative comment. You're gonna leave a negative comment on. I can't. I don't want to give it away, but like she said, She said, "Oh, he's gonna cheat on you and then blame you for it." I'm like,
"Oh yeah, the girl."
I'm like, meanwhile, I just spent in the past couple weeks, I just spent $14,000 on things related to you, and not that money means anything, but like, it's just funny when people leave negative comments because on the opposite end of that, the person that you're leaving that comment on, this is how my life exists in real life.
Like nothing. So nothing that you said changed is how our life.
Right. Like we're gonna still move into that nice spot. We're gonna be on vacation. We're gonna be on several flights over the next month.
I know.
Like life is great. Like life is fantastic, and you're gonna still stay in that same spot. It's like LeBron said. People could comment all they want all day long, but they still, when they go to sleep at night, they have
You're
to
still you.
you still got to wake up and you're still going to have that same life. You're still going to have to go in, clock in to wherever you're working at, and your life is still going to be the same. Meanwhile, the people that you're talking about are going to be the ones that are going to continue to live their great life because they're going out and doing what they need to do instead of commenting on social media all day.
Exactly. And notice too how me and you, I feel like we were never that type. Even when we were broke college students, we were never just like hating on people. We always were inspired, and like look how our lives turned out. Like I feel like a lot of people who put out that negative energy, their life reflects that because they spend so much time hating on others that they don't even focus on their own lives. Like not even on no karma type of timing. I just feel like the good energy that we put out just naturally comes back because we're putting our energy into things that progressing us. We never was hating on people ever. Like I said, even when we were broke college students, because we knew first of all what our work ethic was going to get to us. Like we knew that that's the life we were going to get. Never have I ever hated on anybody on the internet. Like I swear on God, on my life, on everything. I never done that.
Not even just that, but even people that we had problems with, we never wish negative on anybody.
Literally.
Or if we happen to see them doing
and
something,
they wished it on us.
Yeah, or even if we seen them do something positive, it's like good for them.
Yeah, literally. That's the thing. Like even anybody from the past, like whatever positive that they might be doing or have done, like it's not like I'm mad about it. Like like good. That doesn't affect me. Like I'm happy for you. Like cool. That's good for you.
I ain't gonna be looking for it, but if I see it, I'm not gonna be like shout out to you. So yeah.
But I feel like I feel like some people don't feel that way. I feel like people will wish bad on us and are mad that their bad wishes have not reflected.
Yeah, I don't wish.
I'm sure people have been like, oh, they're not even gonna stay together anyway.
I don't wish anything on anybody because like I'm not gonna wish negativity on anybody because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything
for me at all. It doesn't bring me any satisfaction.
If anything, it makes you worse. Your brain is gonna start rotting from all that negativity. Yeah. So I don't even be on that. So all y'all weirdos that comment, because it's not just her. I've seen a ton of other women.
A lot of weird people
getting killed on TikTok for doing this kind of soft life thing. Like you love it, but then when somebody has it, then you hate it because you can't get it. Yeah. Y'all are weirdos, and I see this happen across so many different people.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. The main people that you see in her comments, like it's just it makes me sad because it's like us, our peers. Like I always say we're the youngest in our peer group, so everybody's already turning 28. Like I'm like, dang, y'all niggas old. It was like a lot of our peers are already turning 28. Like that like impending aging is hitting for people. Like
it is.
They're looking at themselves in the mirror and they don't look the same. Their lives are not what they thought it would be. They're not making good money. They're not in any stable relationship. They're seeing their other friends get married and have good careers and buy houses, and they're not getting that. So what are they resorting to doing? Becoming the same bitter old people that they despised when they were younger in their early 20s and teens. Like now you're turning into the bitter aunties, hating in the shade room, hating in Nara Smith's comments, hating on Twitter. Like, and it's sad because we're seeing it's literally happening to our own people that we like our own age mates. I'm like, dang, since when? Cause I still feel like young, vibrant, and cool, and like life is good. So it's like when you see that like the demise, like it's like there's two different paths that our age group is taking, and a lot of us are going this way, and a lot of them are that way. And
that's all it comes down to is
circle of life.
Just the haves and the have-nots.
And that's just a balance. That's just a natural balance of life. Like I was trying to explain that to my mom the other day. Like you can't expect everybody to be in a certain level because that's just not possible. Like we need circle of life. We need balance. There's gonna be people at the top, and there's gonna be people at the bottom always. Like. And every generation is going to be the same thing. Like there's a 12-year-old right now out there who's going to turn into that person in 20 years and they don't even know it. Like it's just natural, you know?
Yeah. So for all them hating, just let them watch from the bleachers.
Yeah. I just think
from the nosebleeds.
The thing is, they at the end of the day, like you said, they know who they are. They wake up and they know. They
might not know.
They might not know because some people live in delusion and they think.
And that's the crazy part.
Yeah. They live in squalor and they shape bad but they think they're the most curvy, like they think they're a baddie, and they think
We talked about that in the last pod, the delusional like.
I be seeing that in the comments, like when I be on Amazon or sometimes like shopping, I see people in the reviews and the girl like this made my butt look big. I'm like, what butt? Like I'm just like sometimes people just like I don't know, I just get scared. Like they're like my stomach looks snatched. I'm like, does it? Yeah. It doesn't look snatched to me.
It's still there. It's not snatched. That's still it's right. Like we took the pic. You took the picture. We see it right there.
That's why I just get scared. I'm like, are people just?
Yeah, people are delusional. There's a difference
between self-love and delusion. There's a difference.
Yeah, you should love yourself, but don't start coming in here lying. Don't start lying to yourself, and don't start lying to everybody else because we have eyes. We can see.
Yeah.
So it's not snatched. It's right there actually.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, unfortunately, those people who do live in like squalor, I said I got that. Maybe is that like a country word? I got that from my mom. She says that all the time. Squalor. It just means living like, you look around and
the bed is here and the TV's there and the couch is there and the kitchen's there.
We're not doing that.
And there's garbage packed up and there's plates and there's like
that high. How high was that? That high.
That's what made me squalor. That's like you living in like filth. Basically, you're living in. It's not even about being like poor. It's just because there's poor people who live nice. It's living in filth and like it's like that meme like when the guys be like making jokes, but they're making the jokes from like a pissy mattress on the floor and like.
Right.
Like when flies, like you're talking about people, you're in the shade room hating on like somebody rich, a rich guy, and you're just sitting. That's what your situation is. Like it's one of those things, and I do think some people are really delusional about their circumstances, but I think it does come up to a point where you do realize and like, okay, this is my life.
Because they realize that that's their life, but then they're gonna find something else to blame it on. And we've had this conversation so many times. Like people keep talking about. I think it became popular to talk about the economy, and I'm like, the economy. I mean, I don't know if you've checked your stock portfolio.
It's fine.
It's fantastic.
And even the job market thing. People like the job market's so bad. How do I got an offer in 11 days. I applied, phone screen. Multiple people hit me up. I have 2 phone screens. I had a thing I got to withdraw my application for another interview offer. I have like 3. And then a job offer in 11 days. 11-day turnover. The job market's not bad. You guys just have horrible majors and no experience. Like, let's be real. You picked shitty degrees. Like, accounting is booming right now. Like I said, 3 interviews I've had and a job offer in 11 days turnaround. Like, the job market's not bad.
Yeah. You just have no skills. It's
bad for you. You have no skills, no experience, and a bad degree. Like, a degree is nothing great. Like, so, like I said, people are just always going to find something to blame. So unfortunately,
accept themselves.
They'll probably never have that coming to Jesus moment. But the people who they're hating on are gonna always win because they're always gonna be in a position that they want to be in at the end of the day. Like, and they wake up and they love their lives. Like,
Yep.
So, shout out to Nara Smith. I actually just followed her recently because I saw all the hype happening and like, but then her videos just kept coming and I was like, okay, like her videos are good. I'm like, I'm inspired. Like, see how I'm inspired because I actually love my life and love myself. I'm just inspired by it. Like, I'm inspired to cook more. Am I hating on her? Like, you see how Issa is?
And then your life becomes more positive when you're positive. It's like
I saw her mango sticky rice recipe. I'm like, maybe I should make that myself because I love me a good mango sticky rice. So,
yep.
Shout out to her and her family and her stability and the life that people wish they could have. And I hope nothing negative happens for them because I really don't want people to be like, see, told you.
Yep, that's how it happens.
I hope nothing happens because I hate
her continued success.
Yeah. So.
And fuck all y'all other weirdos. Get a life, dweebs. Yep.
So continuing on our bashing women.
Yeah, this is really the bashing women podcast.
I know we say that every week. It's my fault because these are my topics.
We could bash men eventually.
Or we'll do a men bashing one so people won't think I pick me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more so just constructive criticism for my people. Like, I feel like I'm just, like I said, I'm always just big on constructive criticism and I want women to be better. So that's why I criticize them so much. And also, I support us. Like, if you truly support your kind, you actually do criticize them because you want them to be better.
And women are a lot more chatty on social media, so it gives more to judge.
Mm-hmm. But lately, not even lately, this is actually as of today that I saw this tweet. Now, I don't even know if I even get the exact tweet because the girl blocked me. The girl who made the tweet blocked me. So let me see if I go to is there a way I could see it? Like, if
probably not. I feel like if they blocked you.
I know. Dang it.
But since they blocked you, basically what the tweet was saying that this woman was.
Oh, wait, no, I can get it from my other account.
This woman was interested in having a child just for her own personal benefit and not for the benefit of the child. And so just women discussing the concept of having children selfishly. And that they basically, you want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah, I had to go on my other account. I should comment again so she blocked my other account. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, tell her I'm back.
I'm back. But she's like, a married woman. Well, okay, the original tweet was, the older I become, the more fearful I am of having a child out of marriage. The thought terrifies me. And as this woman came back and said, a married woman once told me that if I ever wanted to have children, I should do it for me. Okay? Meaning, yeah, right? Meaning I should be emotionally, mentally, and financially ready to have the child for solely my satisfaction, married or not. So I came back and said, people have this mindset and then wonder why when they get older, their kids don't want a relationship with them. Your intention for bringing me into this world was solely for your satisfaction. Your kids are real people, human beings, not personal props. So her saying that she should have a child for solely my satisfaction, married or not, is insane to me.
Yeah, we can't continue to want to foster the idea of kids growing up without two parents in the household. It's not. Of course, you can have a nuclear family, two parent household, and their relationship is horrible, and the kids all are ruined by it. Of course, those things happen. But assuming that you have some normal human beings in the household, you can't possibly tell me that there's any negatives of having a nuclear family. You
Yeah.
have
Literally.
If you have sons, then you have a male perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You have a father figure that they can reach out to.
And yeah, the person was more respected. Like realistically, just scientifically, for some reason, men are just more respected. You see it with pets. Like you ever see how dogs act when the man in the house is talking?
Yeah, all he gotta do is bark once, and you see what
Yeah.
time it is, and then
The dogs be like, they don't respect the women. They be listen. They be like this though when the men talk.
right,
The
because
dogs.
you see, like in the hood, there's a lot of single parenting going on, and that's why the hood people be shooting people up, and they're so emotional because they just grew up around women. They didn't have a father figure, so they don't know how to deal with their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing they know is to act out and try to get attention from other men by gangbanging and doing everything else.
Yeah.
So there's that concept, and the other part is like you have the father to son relationship, and then you also have the father to daughter relationship where he can coach the daughter on how to foster relationships with men, what to look out for. Like no better perspective can you get than living with another man.
And women, having a dad loves them. They get that love from a man in their house first. So they sometimes don't go out and seek that. A lot of women are damaged and seek that validation and seek that male attention elsewhere. And then, you see what path they usually end up down.
Right.
So
yeah, because the father can teach the daughter how to love themselves and find that love for yourself outside of a man and not get that reliance because you don't have that relationship with your father. That's why the whole concept of daddy issues is a thing where either they don't know their father and they're missing that whole male perspective, or they know their father and they have a bad relationship and then they go out and start chasing around. So I do understand that just because you have two parents in a household doesn't mean that it's going to always be beneficial, but in general I would take two parents in a household over one because it's just parenting is more than just one individual person. It's supposed to be a combined team and you work together to raise the kids. And from the wife's perspective, you need the person that's going to be there to nurture you and care for you and coddle you in that way. Like that's what the whole point of the mother nursing the baby, like you need a mother there.
Yeah, and you need both. And
the same thing, the mother daughter relationship is important, which we don't even talk about the mommy issues that much, but the mother daughter dynamic horrible.
Breed the worst type of people.
They're the worst out of the issues.
Yeah.
Mother daughter, like if the daughter hates their mother, horrible. It's way worse than daddy issues.
Yeah.
But the mother daughter relationship and the mother being able to teach the daughter different things about what it means to be a woman. And I won't speak to that because that should be what you're speaking for. But also the mother-son relationship where the mother teaches the son the lovey-dovey part of, like dealing with your emotions, nurturing you because it can't always be so intense with the dad all the time. And teaching you the same things that the dad would. So it should be, two parents, good balance. Like, so
that's just literally the balance of life.
We can't have people like, first of all, opting to want to be in these scenarios where they like, why would you want to not have?
And that's like the crazy part. And like what a lot of people are saying in her comments, someone's like, they're explaining to her like, well, why would you want this? And then she's saying, well, you see like the men that leave and abandon their families. So it's like, the research of like the men abandoning their families, like the impact of single mother households have had, not just on the single mothers who now have the burden of raising children all on their own, which if you hear from their mouths directly, they say how horrible it is, how hard it is. It's not people glorify it, but it's hard. Like single motherhood is hard. So you see the research. They're telling you from their own mouths how it is. You also are seeing the research on the impacts of single motherhood and how that affects the kids. How those kids grow up despising their dads and sometimes despising the moms, if the moms have had any impact on them not having a relationship with their dads. So all that, and you still are purposefully creating that environment.
Yeah,
like it's one thing if it happened to you. Like let's say a mother did get married, or did try to have a nuclear family, and then something happens where the man just switches up and leaves, abandons his family. A divorce happens, and then he just doesn't want to be involved in the child's life. At least you didn't. That wasn't your intention. So it's like I feel bad. Like that's not what you wanted to happen. And you tried to do the nuclear family thing, but to purposefully create a broken home is like literally
It's
insanity.
weird.
to me.
That,
Like,
that
that's
sounds
so weird.
crazy.
And then you see her wording, I'm doing this solely for my satisfaction. So you're only having kids for your personal selfish reasons. That's weird.
To take the pictures and IG and
I'm
all
good,
that kind of
and to
stuff.
get coddled. I'm a mom, so they can have the image of, they can have the title to say I'm a mom. So now that's their new personality trait, that they're a mom. Like, so now you might not have felt like you were nothing in this world, but now you have a title, and now you have importance. Now you have a reason. Now you have somebody, and people love the power trip. We had to talk about that. People love the power trip of being a mother, I think,
Yeah.
because they love that having somebody who's dependent on me.
Both parents.
Both parents, yeah, but dads too. They love that concept of, here's this person who needs me. They need me. Like, I feel good because this person needs me. Like, they're like, begging to do things. Like, they're begging me to go
get
out.
the remote.
Yeah.
Go do this. Go do that.
Yeah, like you're making them do stuff for you. Like, it could get deep. That's a whole separate conversation about the power dynamics that people love and enjoy, and that's why when those kids get older and end up challenging those parents and then end up definitely like leaving and never talking to them again, it's boo-hoo, what happened? Where did I go wrong? Like, and there's loss of power that parents, when they start losing that grasp that they have on their kids, you see the scramble and the chaos. So there's definitely some weird underlying reasonings for people to have kids, and a lot of it is their own selfish reasons. Like, I actually just saw a tweet earlier where this girl said she has never heard anybody give her when they asked them, why do you want kids, she said she never heard anybody give her an answer that didn't revolve around themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's why people do, because I want to have somebody who looks like me, or I want to raise children. And I just feel like it's my duty in life to raise. Like, it's always me. That's why you want kids? Because if your own selfish reasons, like, what about this child, like, who's an actual human being, who's going to be a person, who's going to be impacted by all these decisions that you made? Like, so you want to have a kid solely for your satisfaction. Now that kid's going to grow older and question you. Why didn't you let me? Like, why didn't you try to have a family? Why don't I have a dad? Why did you get me from a sperm bank? Who is my dad? I want to know them. Like, that's my genetics. I want to know who that is. Like, a sperm bank? You want to make me from a sperm bank? That's what she said. So that kid could grow up and question who the other half of their DNA is. You're insane. Like, that's literally so selfish to me. Like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now that kid's gonna grow up and hate you potentially. So you did all that for what? So they could grow up and literally curse you out and be like, you're a horrible, selfish, evil person. Like, because that's normal. You want to know who your other half of your DNA is. Who's my family? Who is this man? Who's his mom? Who's his siblings? Who are his other kids? Who could be my other siblings? Like, you're gonna rob that from somebody because you wanted kids for your own selfish reason.
Or when, yeah, and that's one thing. Like, because you mentioned before, like, yeah, sometimes things just don't work out, and maybe there's a split household. But
you could explain to your kid what happened,
right? You can explain that, but when
you purposely made that decision,
when there's back to school night or parent day or career day or any of these other things, you're gonna
dad day, like
people,
father-daughter dance.
Yeah, and then they can't participate because you wanted to be selfish and print out a child because you just wanted you needed, so you were bored or something. You needed a hobby, and your idea was to bring a life into this world that you don't really even care about. You just wanted for the IG pictures.
Yeah. And
so you could put that I'm a mom in your bio. It's like weird. It's like why are people purposefully trying to just, that whole I don't need a man thing is crazy. Because I'm not saying that anybody needs crazy. Anybody, but
but to act like as humans we don't need each other and don't benefit from each other's, like, both ways. Men benefit from women and women benefit from men. Like,
answer this for me. So the women that are of the perspective that they hate men and they don't want anything to do with a man. So, and you may or may not know this. So when they go through life, do they not have any physical or companionship with a man at all?
They do. Because I noticed that the biggest male-hating women always be making the tweets where it's like, something went down.
Yeah, because that's what I'm confused about. Because they hate men, but then
they sleeping with them.
Yeah, so it's like for my thing, right? Like with this, so she hates men. She feels like men aren't worth the trouble of marriage or whatever. So does she go through life for the rest of her life like never?
Nope, she probably does, and that's even worse, right? Because
that's what I'm confused about.
We just talked about the male-centered woman, right? Like, and this not saying that she's male-centered, but we just talked about in our other podcast how, like, Madeline Soto, the one 13-year-old who just was killed, right, by her mother's boyfriend, how dangerous that is, like, with single moms dating and bringing men around. So yeah, like you said, like, she probably would have companionship, and now you're actually making a more dangerous situation because you're bringing people who are not even related to your daughter or son around that kid potentially, and now you're causing a risk. Because there's always a risk. Like they could. That's even obviously a risk when it's your own biological parents, right? But that's a lot more rare than there is when you're bringing in somebody who you're dating, who could potentially molest your own kid. Like that's the even crazier part. You're actually creating more of a dangerous situation. And I'm sure she's still going to be seeking companionship and dating.
I have an even crazier story, but
Like-
I'll tell you off camera if you remind me.
Okay. But yeah, it's just like, it's literally crazy. It's literally insane. Like, is there? She says so herself, doing it for my own personal reasons. Like, she's selfish, and that's why she blocked me, because I said that, and like it's probably like she's being called out, like,
Yeah, she
and
thought
by women and men.
Yeah, she thought people were gonna be like, yeah, I support this because
Yeah.
the whole I hate men committee.
Yeah. Like you said, this whole like Miss Independent, I don't need a man thing. It's so lame to me. It's so lame.
And if you
like,
don't-
I can understand not having luck in this world with men, and recognizing that a lot of men do trash behavior, but women aren't just as trash. Like, let's talk about that. Like,
And if you don't, because I understand that, right? If you're the perspective, because there's men like that, they just don't feel like dealing with it.
yeah,
But where I'm confused is two things here. So if you feel that way, one, are you never gonna have any connection, companionship, relationship with a man ever until you die?
no, that's definitely
Because
not
that's definitely not happening.
Mhm.
And then two, you kind of still need a man because you're going to get their sperm in the first place.
Exactly.
But you hate them.
And the thing is, like, you're not getting a sperm from a
random.
bang. You don't even know what the, like, I mean, I'm sure they get a picture of what the people look like, but that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, that's literally, like, this is literally
No.
insanity when we really say it out loud.
Now, I think what she was
Like,
saying,
you're
though,
shopping for a sperm. Like,
against that point, I think she was saying that she just wants the baby and she just doesn't want to deal with the man themselves.
and she also saying like, oh, because of the stats, there's a potential that that if I do meet a man, he's gonna abandon us anyway, because the stats say that that's likely, which is wild.
Are they?
I don't know. I'm like, what?
Abandoned?
Like, I think that's because that's this whole, deadbeat, especially in the Black community. That's like, I guess, a thing that's so prevalent.
That's because y'all got trash choices. Like,
yeah,
y'all
because
wanna,
my scope is that's not true. Every Black person I know, their parents are in their lives. Like, I'm trying to think of every single friend I had. I think there was only one friend I had who's, I don't know, dad was super active. But all my friends growing up, dad was active, whether their parents were together or not. The dad was active.
Yeah,
so
but-
I'm not sure what people scope
Well,
are. Like,
let's
I'm
do-
not saying it doesn't exist.
let's time out because you
Yeah, that's my
are in
scope.
a certain income range.
That's true.
And people that have the higher household income, there's two parents in the house.
And
So
funny enough, the one friend that I know ex-friend who I know whose dad wasn't really part of her life was low income. So
that's
I
why.
guess the math is
But
math.
I think when people say these things, I like to get the geographical information of where they're from because our
Yeah.
perspective is different.
All right, yeah,
right?
and I don't want to
just told you
act
the
like
other
our
day,
perspective is like facts.
like
either.
my boss was talking about how we're money team, and I was like, yeah, like we just are, but a lot of the country really isn't. So I like to see where these people are from, and then I can make better
Yeah, and I
comments
don't
on
want to
it.
sound ignorant because
But-
having a more wide scope range, like there is definitely that beats that exist in the
Everywhere,
community, in every
even
community.
over here, even
Yeah.
with people that make money.
But like you said, it's still you. Before you lay down and have a kid with that person will prove to you who they are before that kid's there. More times than not, like there's definitely scenarios where the person definitely switched up, but more times than not, that person proved to you who they were before you had that kid.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, too, even if you get married and then if you're married and you have a kid, it's kind of illegal to be a deadbeat. Like they still have to pay you money for
Yeah.
it. So at the least,
Child
you're at least
support.
getting paid for it.
Yeah.
The kids still wouldn't have a father in their life,
Yeah,
but at least you're getting paid for it. If you're having babies with randoms, then sorry, like
they
that's
don't owe
just
you
like.
nothing. Yeah,
Like that's still like one of the craziest concepts to me. How people can just get with randoms that you're not like tied to legally
just to have a kid.
to have, and then you're giving birth to
Oh,
this person.
Man, that's insane. Like
That's wild.
and to this one girl's point that she made, you don't have to have kids. That's also an option. You
Yeah.
don't have to have them, but people want them so bad for their own selfish reasons. But you don't have to have them. So you rather opt for voluntarily or voluntary single motherhood over just not having a kid at all. Voluntarily broken household over just not having a kid. You don't have to have a kid. There's no requirement. There's no rule in life that you have to reproduce just because you can. You don't have to. So why not opt to that? Because they're selfish. They want kids for their own ego stroke. They want kids for their own accessory. They want kids for their own fulfillment. They want kids because they want to create a human being who they can lean on, who they could talk to, who they can hang out with, who they could invoke their power over. They just want that, and that's really what it boils down to. Because I don't understand, like what I envision for my life, like especially like, you know, 'cause thankfully I'm in like a stable relationship and a stable situation. Like I don't get how people don't envision that like fun life of just having a great relationship with a man and him being a father, like and seeing the benefit of having that. Like you see when when videos go viral all the time how much kids love their dad. Like you're gonna take that from somebody because you had your own selfish reasons, because you didn't do the work, your probably most likely internal work to first, and then go find somebody. Like there's people out there like that. You telling me all the men in the world that not everybody's trash? Like come on, there's definitely bad apples, but I don't think people even do their own work, their own self work first. You know.
Yeah.
So you just that's, you know, going off with the Nara Smith conversation. These are just women who are, the biological clock is ticking, and they're scrambling. They're realizing they haven't found a good guy, and they also know that they probably more likely didn't even put the work in to find a good guy themselves. They probably had their fun. Like women try to encourage other women to do, oh, girl, just enjoy your life, have your fun. They did that, and now they're realizing, damn, all the good men are being, you know, getting married, and now I'm scrambling because I was having my fun, you know. So now instead, I'm just gonna be a single mom and go to the sperm bank.
That's kind of like, because we talked about this before. Like you said sometimes, like, well, you said a lot. You'd be like, oh, you're lucky because other girls. Like, so while I don't disagree with the sentiment of that.
Oh wait, me saying that to you?
Yeah, like, oh, you're lucky because other girls, they might be like this, or they might be crazy or that other stuff. It's kind of like,
I say that, but like obviously not like that.
You
literally.
didn't even.
Okay,
you're
sorry.
defending yourself.
Sorry.
You're not even hearing what I'm about to say. You gotta stop cutting me off. Let's talk about this.
I'm sorry. I just be having a lot to say.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna work on it.
I appreciate it. That's why our relationship works.
I'm gonna work on it.
Because you've said that, and while yes, I don't take you for granted at all, and I do understand the sentiment of being lucky, I would more so say that I'm glad or happy to have you. Not necessarily that I'm lucky per se, but the reason for that is because I'm a good judge of character, and I'm picking my circumstance. So it's not necessarily that I'm partially lucky, but part of that is also choice, because I could have made a bad decision.
And you told me this too back in college.
Yeah.
Because you told me, like, you know, people that you might have found like attractive, but like you were a good judge, and once you got to know people a little more, like, all right, like that person, like, yeah, they might look good, but their personality is eh.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you were able to judge based off the circumstantial evidence. So I might have been a better fit.
Yeah.
And not crazy.
Yeah, because there's a choice in these things. So maybe, because, you know, I don't really want to bring it up like that, but there was the one person, and then they got preggo shortly after. Like, that would have been, but remember, I cut that whole scenario off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing. Yeah. Yeah. but were you? Do you think you even were like a judge of character, that's what type of person that she would have been? Like, could you tell? Or no.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So that would be an example. Like, just making good decisions is also a part of it, and people make bad decisions.
I know people have their evidence. I mean, their not evidence. The drink is getting to me. People have their perspective of their opinion on birth control. But I think the fact that I still made that decision to protect myself says a lot about who I am, because like I was making conscious, like knowing the risk, I was still making conscious decisions to protect me having a baby at an untimely time in my life. And if a woman doesn't do that, and they're not really, you know, they're a little careless about that, then maybe that speaks onto their character a little bit. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, I see what you mean. Could you explain this to me too? Like, yeah, it's not luck. Like, it's you. If it wasn't me, it would have been another woman who's just as like a good of a person, and you know, 'cause that's just your judge of character.
Yeah, and nobody would have been you. So, because that's what. Because if I say that, I know that the I'm sorry, I forgot to cut that out from the last one.
I know, and you say
I know the feminists would be upset about that kind of sentiment, because that's like they hated that homeboy said that he was the prize, the catch a relationship.
Yeah.
Simone Biles,
which I don't understand why people get so mad about that, because I think people are both. I think both men and women are both a prize in their own
Jonathan
way.
Owens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of like that same thing. It's like, yes, I'm glad I have you, and nobody else could have been you specifically. You're your own unique person.
Yeah.
And I would never say that anybody could replace you, because you're unique, you're different. Like, that whole sentiment is true, but there is choice. Like, if you were a bad person, then I just, like, it wouldn't have been you then, right? You know what I mean? So it's a luck in the sense that, you know, all of the things that occurred in life
Yeah.
all the different stages of decisions on where to go to college and you know where I might have been on any given night. All of those things are still applicable. So when we talk about luck, yes, in that sense is lucky, but there was also choice involved within that as well, because I could have
Yeah.
made any other bad decision.
The only luck really here is aligning when we did, I guess, because
Yeah.
you could have potentially avoided like a very chaotic college years. I mean, it was still chaotic because our relationship was a little mess, but I mean, it could have been like worse. Like you could have been like dating all these different girls and like dealing with a lot of crazy. Like we seen the crazy chaotic relationships from other people and what the men were going through, like physical abuse and glass.
All right. Anything else? Because
Glass in my bed.
All right.
Stop.
You good?
Well, we said we gonna do our whole college episode.
Yeah, because you wilding now. Anything else?
I'm just saying, like physical abuse is not no joke.
All
That's
right.
domestic violence is real.
Yeah, but
So thank God you don't have to deal with that.
yeah.
But
Give me the drink. We're not gonna start bringing that up.
okay, I'm not. But I'm just saying.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? You gonna get people arrested out here.
They don't get arrested for something that happened like 10 years ago. But
What was the person's name?
I'm not saying the person's name. Like that.
But yeah, you got anything else on this one?
But we did see his floor mate last weekend.
Oh
Hung out.
God! All right, that's
So
it.
ironically enough.
That's it for this topic.
But
You got anything else?
yeah, people. What we were saying before.
No, we're done because you wilding now.
No, okay. Well, yeah. Don't purposely create single house.
Yeah, that's it. You good? All right. This was a massive shift in the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
It's always funny when like you got the goats that drop just like a verse or something, and the way it just shuts down everything.
Yeah, it's
Like-
just funny too because all this was happening and like you were asleep and I kept trying to wake you up. I was like, look, this was like
Kendrick diss Drake. I was like, I'm trying to sleep.
yeah, like I got
He
work tomorrow.
dissed J. Cole. I'm like, okay, I got you. But yeah, obviously, if y'all are here, I'm just gonna assume you guys know Kendrick responded to the J. Cole and Drake song "First Person Shooter," which was on For All the Dogs. And there was a reference to Kendrick in there. If you didn't hear the lyric, go listen to music and get out from under the rock you're in. But just basically referring to Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick being the big three when it comes to rap, like in rap superstardom. I don't know why people don't talk about Future being up there, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I'm gonna give my personal feelings on it. I think that, of course, this is what I love. I love when there's that element of competition, because I think it makes everybody's game go up. Like, we always still reference the 2013 Control verse from Kendrick, where he dropped that, and then all of a sudden, people that weren't even dissed were were feeling like they caught a stray, and everybody started going and writing and making music like, I like this. This is what makes the music progress and makes it better. It's been too non-competitive, too much TikTok music,
Too much camaraderie that they want.
camaraderie. Yeah,
Camaraderie, especially with female rap.
yeah, like it's too much that stuff.
Hold hands.
Like, nah, I want some competition. I want something that's hard. I want hard beats, lyrics crazy. Like, this is the type of stuff that I like. So for me, it was just a simple response. I don't think it was like, I don't think he was trying super hard on it. You know, your dog's gonna be in a pet cemetery, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it was kind of lightweight jabs. Like, it wasn't nothing too crazy. A little bit of sparring, and
It's,
I
like, it's
enjoyed
kind of
it.
like a warm up. Like, it's like you throw the shots, and if like Drake wants to return fire, then it could be all out war.
Yeah, because the initial bar that J. Cole said, it wasn't a diss either. It was kind of a shout out a little bit. But I think there might be some, Kendrick might feel a way about J. Cole aligning himself with Drake when J. Cole and Kendrick were supposed to do the whole collab album, like back in the day. Like, they were supposed to be that.
Yeah.
But, you know, and now they're both on tour together, so maybe Kendrick feels a way about that.
The light skins united. They did.
They did. But yeah, in terms of the diss, yeah, it was cool. It was calm. Like, it was a nice little jab.
Drake's not light skin. It makes people
Jab. Okay, we're not doing that. It was a nice little jab, and so I enjoyed it, and I liked the competition. Like, but this kicked off this whole wave, because this was like, everybody's confused, right? Because you had Metro saying, you picked your size, stay over there. We don't know who he's talking about. He could be talking about 21. There's gonna be a whole lot of speculation as to who he's specifically talking about.
It could be 21. I actually didn't think about that.
Yeah, because I would think 21 would be on a Metro album.
And they work together.
Yeah, of course they
Yeah.
did Savage Mode
Yeah.
1 and 2. They worked together a ton, but you didn't see him on this album.
And people were saying they were like low key to like waiting.
Yeah,
Or no, somebody actually made a joke. They're like, I'm 5 tracks, 6 tracks in, and 6 tracks in, and no 21 yet. And they seemed like they were happy about that. I think they were, or they might have just been shocked. I couldn't interpret what they were trying to
interpretate,
get off.
not just interpret.
Sorry,
Give me the drink. Give me the drink. But yeah, so
Interpretate.
interpretate. Yo, interpretate is crazy. Interpretate is nuts.
I'm putting the drink over there.
Put it on the ground so you don't spill it on the couch.
I don't know. We gotta sell this couch.
But anyway, yeah. So
Interpret.
I think I like it. But what was interesting is they created this whole shockwave because obviously Metro and Drake have an issue because Metro came out and said that, he was tired of Her Loss being nominated for everything, and he feels like he didn't get what he deserved with the superhero. I forget what the actual name.
Which
of
I
the
don't
album
feel like
is.
that was a diss. Like I think he was just literally just. I don't
It's
know.
expressing frustration, but you pulled your man. You pulled your man's.
I'll be
your
mad
frustration.
if I was Drake, I'll be
you
like,
would
wait,
whoa,
yeah.
that was shady. Yeah,
Yeah.
You would feel away.
Yeah.
And then Drake obviously said, all you tweeters and the leaders and all that kind of stuff. So that's where that whole Metro Drake thing started. Unless it started from something previously where maybe Drake did something.
I think it had to be something else. I mean, maybe not, because sometimes literally like we've been involved in our own like personal beefs. Like sometimes there do be something as little as that would trigger an event. But sometimes there could be something that was leading up to it, like maybe slight like weird vibes, weird jabs, weird little maybe things that got into it. Maybe a shared woman. Like you never know. There's always a lot of the weird nuance.
And we don't know these people. That's the other thing. People,
we don't
y'all gotta
know.
realize we don't know these people. We don't know what
It's
goes
all
on behind the
speculation.
scenes. Their life isn't the songs. Like
Yeah.
they're not just characters that do songs. They're actual humans that exist outside of the rap songs themselves.
And they're actually humans that have we little like people realize like the little things do happen that cause issues in friendships and relationships. So it could have been like there's like little pieces that we could be missing.
Yeah.
Weird little side remarks in
And
the
we'll
studio.
never know.
Like a lot of big issues people have in friendships and stuff or relationships is like, oh, like why are you clowning me in front of the hoes? Like it could be little stuff that we don't know because we'll never know because the small little things that happen, like interactions that happen in people's day-to-day lives that we're not privy to.
That could blow up into the music.
Yeah, like I feel like with a lot of my personal problems I have with people, it's like little stuff that like you would never know, like if you weren't around us every day to day, like little jokes, little weird comments that people make, and like you kind of like you're like, all right, noted. This person's a little weird, noted, but okay.
Yeah.
And it blows up into something which could have been the whole Her Loss, supervillain, whatever.
Yeah.
Tweet.
So, what we understand from this though is that it's basically it's a Future and Metro album.
Yeah.
So.
Like they're like the main.
It's their album.
Artists,
that's it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Metro has an issue with Drake.
Yeah.
We already know that. But Future allowing Kendrick to get on the album and diss Drake and be on the same song.
Yeah.
Is making everybody feel like Future and Drake have some sort of beef too, which is interesting because they worked so much together. They've had
over the years.
They have Diamond Records.
Yeah.
Like
over a decade.
Like a lot.
They've been working together since we were in high school.
Right. So the alleged, because we know, like I said, with the Kendrick diss, it was like first person shooter. Like, oh, y'all saying it's top 3, it's only top me. Like we got all that. Pet Cemetery, for all your dogs gonna be in the Pet Cemetery. All that. So that was the Kendrick.
The
bars.
K9.
Yeah. And with Future, the alleged diss to Drake was basically supposedly about a woman, which of course it always is. And Drake saying
that's definitely probably one of the top reasons men fight with each other.
Yeah,
is women.
And Future saying that Drake was basically pillow talking and whatever, and that Drake's a fan and all this other stuff. I don't necessarily know how people connected those dots, but maybe just because of the Kendrick feature and Future and Metro allowing that diss to occur on the album, maybe they were taking that as being a diss towards Drake. I'm still thinking through it, but I'm not entirely sure how they made that connection.
Yeah.
But
we had to do it, like, find breakdowns.
Yeah, well, I'll have to sit there and connect the dots in my free time. But they're alleging that Future also dissed Drake over a woman, and 3 people or 3 options that I've heard that it is the most common one is that there's some woman from Philly. That is the one. Another popular one was SZA. And another one was a dancer at Skyami that they said it could
What
be
is
about.
Miami? I feel like I've heard reference to that a few times.
Pretty sure it's a strip club.
In Miami.
Yeah, or there's just a nightclub.
When we go to Miami, we'll have to check it out ourselves and see what
For
it's
sure.
all about.
You know, we should do open up a blog of just like strip clubs,
Strip club reviews
strip club reviews.
from a couple's standpoint.
Yeah, we've done pretty much
Disclaimer:
everyone in New York.
we just like the vibes of strip clubs. That's all. It's nothing. It's not that. Don't make it anything deeper than it is. Good music, good vibes. That's all.
Wait, is Skyami not an actual place?
Is it not? Maybe it's spelled differently.
Slang for the city of Miami.
I was thinking that because I heard it in the lyric.
Oh.
I'm like, is it just
Am I
slang?
dumb?
So there's a club though.
They just said. I could have sworn it was though.
I thought it was too, but I did feel like when I heard it in the song that it was like, okay, maybe this is another name for Miami.
I might be dumb. Sorry,
So
y'all.
it's a club maybe in Miami. That they meant like maybe they're saying it's a club in Skyami. The person. was
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, that's
so.
probably what they're saying. Maybe I
That
misinterpreted
just,
that.
that must be like a newer slang because I haven't heard people
Not so
calling
recently.
it Skyami until recently. Yeah, I've heard the Yams. Obviously, I heard Miami.
305 or
Yeah.
whatever else they want to call it. But allegedly, Drake and Future were messing with the same woman, and
First of all, these.
Drake was pillow talking.
As a
supposedly.
side note, both of these men are too old for this. But keep going. Sorry, I just had to say that because Nicki gets a little much hate about her age, but these niggas are just at the same age. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, Future and Drake supposedly messing with the same woman, and Drake was saying things in the bedroom allegedly that got back to Future, I think, and that's what's led to this whole beef. So now there's this whole divide of people got to pick sides, and which side is Travis Scott gonna pick, and which side 21 gonna pick, and they said it's gonna be civil war in the rap game of who's picking whose side. So that's the current situation that
I
we're
hate
in.
the picking sides thing. I get it, but I hate it at the same time. Like people, I've always been a neutral girl, and I feel like people hate the neutral person. Like we get a lot of hate at the end of the day. 'Cause people be like, you're weak. Pick a side. Like have a stance.
I don't know about the picking the side thing, except for when it comes to 21, because
Yeah.
21 and Metro have a relationship before Drake. So if that was about him, then that makes sense. But everybody else not. Like everybody else they were throwing out there, like
But I've been in a situation like that where I've had a relationship with somebody since birth, literally, and then I had a friendship who I've known her since like 6th grade, right? Then they had a beef, and I was in the middle of it. But I'm like, I have a friend who I've been friends with since middle school, and I have a friend who I've been friends with since I was born. I'm not picking a side between two of my longest friendships. So it was like,
It's a little-
I feel that way with like 21. Like, I mean, but that's different though, because 21 did meet Drake after, but that's the same thing in my situation. I did meet this specific friend after I met the other friend.
I think the difference between in their situation is like, I feel like Drake and 21's friendship is more of like an industry friendship.
Same. Whereas the other two, like
Could have
21,
been because they actually live in Atlanta.
yeah,
so it's a
like
little bit
they
different.
might have made like got out the mud together, which I feel like that's a different type of friendship.
Yeah,
But I do feel like with those industry friendships can still form into like
yeah, they
real
can.
friendships. Like even though they're kind of surface level in the beginning, I think they could turn into real like legitimate friendships.
Yeah, they can. It all
And
depends.
I am sorry, not to cut you, off, but I am
No,
of
I'll
the
cut you
belief that time doesn't always mean anything either. Like you can know somebody for years and they could not be a great friend to you. Just because you knew them for so long doesn't mean they're a better friend than somebody you knew less years. So,
Yeah,
but
Oh.
I still do feel like I'm of the belief you could be neutral unless somebody did something so egregious that you have to pick a side.
that's why Travis just be floating. He lets
I'm
all his
Travis.
he lets all his friends diss each other on his
Yeah,
songs.
I'm
and
Travis.
He be a part of all of it. He just be chilling. So
But the bad part about sometimes being a Travis is that people then you're kind of at like a stalemate, so people kind of don't know to trust you all the way. Like you kind of end up not really getting full trust of anybody. But if you're somebody who doesn't really care, then like me, like I don't care. Like I feel like I got in a stalemate and people kind of chose their sides and it kind of left me in a weird area. But I don't care. I don't value like connection with people that much like as they might value
yeah,
it. So
Travis
I don't care.
just chilling, making good music, and like
Yeah, living his
and
life.
I think people
his
respect
dream.
it too because they still continue to do songs with him on all
Yeah.
sides. Like I don't think he cares. But
Yeah.
also at the same time with his diss, I don't think it was so dramatic as people try to make it seem.
Yeah.
At this because it's like it's sparring. Like it's not like anybody actually directly dissed anybody.
Yeah.
J. Cole never dissed Kendrick.
There was no names. There was no ats.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It was like
Like we know obviously,
yeah,
but
because all the dogs, like, come on,
mm,
first person shooter, like you're saying specific song names and album names.
mm.
But it's like if anybody is been involved, like anybody who's a real rap fan knows what the stage of the rap beef is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of subliminals, a lot of like indirect, direct shots, and then it's the balls in Drake's court almost. Like it's his next response. Either you're ducking the beef, or you're gonna be very clear, or you're gonna keep up the subliminals until somebody just comes out and be like, all right, like this is obviously a beef. Like now I'm about to say something directly.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say about Kendrick though is that he does come out every so often. He's not so frequent enough where he keeps saying that he's the best, which I agree, but he needs to say these things and then drop something like crazy, like masterful, like.
And he has the ability. Like he's a great artist. That's why I hate that there's such this debate about who the big three is. Like just because Drake drops a lot of music doesn't mean Kendrick is not a great artist. Just because he drops less. Like Kendrick is really like a lyricist. Like he's really good at what he does. So I feel like he just, like you said, it can't be I'm coming out. It's just a beef. Like drop a project, like drop a single. This would have been a good time to come back. Like I'm like him. This could be this whole I'm reclaiming this GOAT status, and here I am. Like now I'm about to really like show you guys my talent. Like don't just come out the shadows and like I hate you, Drake, and then hype.
Yeah, because he did the same thing. Like with Baby Keem song.
Yeah, with the clowning the Jersey Club thing that Drake was doing, right? Like when they made
he did do that club song. Yeah, I do remember that. Mm-hmm. It was that one, but I'm also saying there was Smoking on Top Fives. Yeah, that whole thing.
I mean, and granted, that wasn't that long ago. It's not like that was like what 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah,
not even. It hasn't been that long.
But then he did. But it's like you gotta.
It's like what else?
Like show us then.
But we did just get a Kendrick project not so long ago.
We did.
Like that was like what 2 years ago. Like time is like so weird to me nowadays. I can't really keep up. Like when was the album? Was that 2022 or 2023? It might have been 2023, right? Like I forgot, but it might have only just been last year that he gave us a whole project. Like so, it's not like he's not giving us projects.
But now
morale, right? Morale,
yeah, the big separate. But now that he did this, now I need to hear something.
Yeah, drop a single.
Show me something.
Like give us another control. But I mean, then again, it doesn't have to necessarily be like
give us another control and give us beef music.
Yeah,
I need all that.
Yeah, come heavy. Like don't like I feel like this little subtle disses like for years it's kind of whack. Like get into it now. Like okay, we know there's a beef. Like now, like come out. Like do at least like Nicki just did Bigfoot. Like we need something like that. Like come out with something like a life of Adidon. Give us something to talk about. Type of thing. We need that. A story back. Of Adidon type of thing. Yeah. Yeah. You think we'll get to that point?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Cause I love that era, that story Adidon era, and like. Dang, if we could have reacted to that in real time, like I would love to see our reaction because that was such a crazy diss. And Drake hasn't. I feel like he hasn't really recovered from that. Like that definitely still bothers him for sure. And that's why he still feels away towards Kanye. Like that still bothers him. Cause that was like a generation of diss. we need that type of energy again.
And God, we've never seen Kendrick battle like something like that. Oh my God,
like a literal actual like head-to-head battle, like adding names and like
I need to see that
I would love to see
at least once in my lifetime because he's really good at like the subliminal dissing. Mm-hmm. Like he does that well, just like Drake does. But I need something like specific, like lyrical, just like kill. Because like Joe Budden was the only person I think that lyrically like really smoked Drake. Yeah, like lyrically. That was like OD.
Yeah, because Pusha T has lyrical ability, but not as much as somebody like a Kendrick. Like Pusha T was good with. He gave us some like. It
was simple. News. It was good, and it was good too.
It was what it needed to be.
And also not just because everybody like focuses on the kid thing, but also everything else that he was saying outside of that.
Like he painted a whole picture of this broken man with identity crisis issues and parent issues and mommy issues potentially and like daddy issues. And he painted this whole picture. Like that was like a master.
The blackface stuff.
Yeah, the blackface stuff.
Yeah, like that's like
him being mixed race and now about how to split into his like. Who he chose as his girl and who he's
also
Drake with. Like he painted a picture.
Also, Future said that was one of the bars. I forget what it was, but he said that like he was if that's about him, he was basically calling Drake a poser, and he just be like capping on like with like the gangster stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot you could break down about him, and I feel like if a real lyricist goes to the battle, like I said, Joe Budden did good at it, but unfortunately, Joe Budden doesn't have the popularity to go head to head.
But if Kendrick did it,
Kendrick, oh my God, ooh.
Kendrick, do it, please. We beg you, please do it.
We need that man to be humble. I feel like Drake is already humble. I think like how we talked about earlier in our podcast. Like I think he does sit down at night and he knows his you know, like where he falls short. I think he knows.
Well, it's not a humbling to me. I just like the competition because
Yeah, the
he shouldn't
competition.
be humble. Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously he done amazing, great things.
like
we can't.
nah,
hate him.
I know you hate him, so your perspective is
I
that
don't
you hate
hate him.
him and
I don't hate him.
you
I
want
just
Kendrick
think-
to make him like cry or something.
No, I don't hate him. Like obviously, like his music still like was a big part of like my teen years. Like, I used to be a fan. That's the funny part. I used to actually be a fan. So it's just like I'm just like, just don't like really a lot of who he presents himself to be. Like I don't know him, but I don't like a lot how he presents himself. I don't like a lot like how he moves. I don't like how he's always in beef. So you know, I just live for the beef, and I live for him to kind of be like, told him himself. That's all.
Yeah, because you hate him.
I don't hate
Me,
him.
I just like competition because I'm gonna continue to enjoy it. Because that's the thing. Everybody always feels like you have to pick a side. Like you can't like Drake and like Kendrick and like Kanye and like 21 and
I don't
like
feel
J.
that
Cole.
way, but
Everybody's weird that way. So like,
I just haven't liked
I
it
like
so
the
much.
competition, and I just know it pushes people to make better music, and that's all I want to see.
And we all
So,
win when there's better music out
Yeah.
there.
So please don't just make it the subliminal. Like, don't Drake come back with a big steppers line. Like y'all think y'all steppers, but
Yeah, 'cause my whole thing is like the subliminal thing is cool as a warm up, but let's get into it. Like, let's like why are we dodging around what we know is there's an issue. There's an issue there clearly. Why are we playing around?
And there's
just
been an
doing
issue-
Subliminals. Like,
this
let's
issue
get into it.
this issue's been around for over 10 years.
Yeah, like let's get into it. Put it all on the table. Like, create a historical moment. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll see what happens next. But I don't know. Do you think? I mean, I don't think Drake's the type to dodge beef. Do you? I don't think he does.
Here, well, I think he.
Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, do you feel like sometimes he maybe dodged it when he feels like the person's more of like a threat?
Yeah, because he dodged Joe.
And that's what somebody was saying, to like see how he leaned into Meek so much. Like they're like he was so willing to lean into Meek, and even Pusha T a little bit. He might have felt like he had a one up, but it's like it seemed like he's dodging.
He didn't lean into Pusha T though. He just still continued to go at Kanye when he dissed. Like
That's
he didn't,
true.
He never really said much about Pusha T.
That's true. That's true. And that's why
Yeah.
he didn't even respond after the story of Adidon. That like that man literally came for your whole life, your mom, your child. Not really coming for your child, but the mother of your child, and you was crickets. He was on podcast, right? LeBron podcast and stuff, right? What's that after that?
Yeah, and Drake did respond after the story Adidon, but for Adidon to be so direct and then for the responses to be indirect.
Yeah, it's weak. Like, come on, I thought this was the GOAT. But I feel like that was him saying I lost. Like, I think he knew he lost that, so that's why he just stopped. But I do feel like he hasn't really ever directly came for Kendrick, right? Like, he just kind of does the GOAT stuff, right? Like, has he said anything directly to Kendrick, or kind of like so subliminal? I know I might be missing some context. I'm just
Yeah,
forgetful.
like he's dissed Kendrick since.
Oh yeah, duh. Like back in like the early 2010s.
Like since basically after Kendrick got on Take Care.
Yeah.
Basically ever since there.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, they really haven't like had no like bond or whatever since then.
Nah, they did. He did Buried Alive interlude on Take Care, and then Drake did Poetic Justice, and then there was a beef ever since.
Poetic Justice. How do I see my brain? I'd be forgetting stuff. That was obviously like a huge.
And they've hated each other since, but they won't
Yeah.
diss each other.
But now this is seeming really direct.
And he kept dissing him too. Like on the language was a diss track to Kendrick.
Dang, this is like, I mean, we're going on over 10 years at this point. 'Cause that language
Yeah.
was 2013, 2014. Like, come on. Let's get the ball rolling. Like, I don't like this
Every
whole
line acting like your
playing
shit is so
around.
inspiring.
Yeah, like I don't like the whole playing around. Let's get into it. Like let's put ads on it. Like we haven't had that in a while. Like Nicki gave it us that with Meg, but like I want it with the men rap. Like I want that. Like I feel like, because you know it is a little more intense. Like not to be sexist, but it is a little more sometimes intense with the men rap. Women seem to duck the beef a lot too. I will say like we never in women rap have had as intense beefs ever really. They seem to duck it, and there's this whole woman empowerment, hold hands. Men have usually given us better rap beef moments, so I'm just wanting that. We need that to relive that 2018 time.
Yep.
So what do you think is next then? Drake, like the ball's in Drake's court, right? Well, not necessarily, because Kendrick can still always follow up with a single. We don't know what else might come, but it seems like at this point, what do you feel like the ball's in Drake's court?
Well, they said allegedly they played the song in a club while Drake was there, which I don't think is true. I think somebody saw Drake at the club and he was on his phone, and people
Yeah,
just said
yeah.
they're just
I
making it
did
sound
just see a
like.
video though of Drake leaving someplace and some like grown people were like grown ass man, but there was like a man that was like, Drake, are you gonna respond to Kendrick? Like Kendrick's better. Like I didn't watch the video, but apparently he was like standing outside, waited for him outside, like and just to
Was that him leaving
come on.
Carbone?
It must have been. Was he in New York?
He
Or
was
the
in
Miami?
one.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video, but apparently the person was like coming for him, like Kendrick's better, like some grown ass man being a weirdo, guzzling Kendrick, but he obviously didn't say anything.
Yeah,
But,
I think.
Yeah, what do you think is next? Like, do you think we get a single from Drake? Do you think next time we hear something is gonna be in like an official release? Like, what do you think?
I think because they're on tour, that Drake's not gonna do
Mm.
anything, and I think that
But Drake could potentially say something on tour.
he could, but I don't think he's gonna do that because that's something that could work. Like when he did that response to the Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. I don't know how people want to refer to him, but when he responded to his interview and like he dissed him by putting like the scrolling thing on the stage. Like I think with somebody like him, it's a little different where he feels like I feel like Drake would feel like he can respond to him that way because he doesn't necessarily view that as being any real competition. But I think with somebody like Kendrick, I don't think if he is going to respond, I don't think he's going to play with it. So I don't think he'll respond on tour. I don't think he's going to go on stage and do some random subliminal. I don't think it'll be anything like that.
Yeah, I mean it could be though, cause I feel like Drake has responded to stuff recently, like on stage. Like then something happened and he said something and everybody was like, "Ooh, that was a response."
With
Something
Rihanna?
happened. Yeah, no, it was like I think it was Rihanna or something with a woman, or it might have been Meg. He said something.
Oh yeah, in Houston, he's like, "Oh, not that Meg."
I feel like he would say something or could say something potentially with this beef, like and say something slick, especially like if he's in the cities, like if he's in Atlanta, right? Or where Future's from Atlanta, or like where Kendrick's from, right? Like I feel like he would Compton, yeah. I feel like he would potentially maybe we'll see what happens. Because if you're not gonna respond to the beef directly or anytime soon, then you might say something slick at a concert, like he does the whole talk. Blah, blah, blah.
The only reason why I'm saying that is because the Kendrick Drake thing is different. Like it has so much of a history, and like anybody that's really into like the hip hop part has been waiting for it. And I feel like he wouldn't want to play with this one. Meg is a woman, first of all, so it's like power dynamic there. So it's kind of easy to get off that, or even Rihanna, like you see, he did that on stage. It's kind of easy to do that with women, but this is Kendrick Lamar we're talking about. So I feel like if he does respond on the tour, it won't be anything like that he's gonna play with.
We'll see. But to be honest, the longer he takes, like the weaker he might look in this. So, or people might think, oh, he's in a different place. He's so much more successful, so he's not gonna waste his time. So people are gonna perceive it different ways. But
because this is just a jab, he has more time than he would if this was actual diss.
Yeah, if it was a diss, then you need 48 hours is like the cap. But yeah, we'll see though. I just hope it's not stretched out. Like I hope it's soon. Like soon. Yeah, drawn out maybe it's better. I hope it's soon. Like some type of response. I hope it's soon.
Yeah.
Cause I live for the rap beef. I like rap beef. It makes music fun. Cause that's what this genre was all about. Like and a part of it, not all of it, but it's been a part of the genre since the beginning. So I would love for there to be a quick response. Like I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year for music and a good year for music. It's been good so far. So it would be very interesting to see how the rest of the year goes. Team Kendrick. Team Kanye.
Anything else?
Who else is on the team? Future. That would be interesting too how that transforms the future Drake potential beef. But in my opinion, Drake's a common denominator, not just because he's successful, but I think he has personality flaws. I don't know him personally, but based on how he acts, I think there's some flaws there. So, Team Kendrick.
And on that note, this has been a Couple of Things podcast.
I was asking what team are you on, but you're not on any team.
I just like good music.
You just like good music.
And this has been the A Couple of Things podcast, where we talked about a couple of things. We will see you same time, same place
next week. And we're gonna do the college pod next week for sure.
For sure, definitely tune into that one.
Down. All about college for anybody who's interested.